welcome everyone back here at the Front Office Report. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of a news that came, a few days ago. Julio Jones having been traded to the Tennessee Titans. We're going to talk about a little bit about the implications to the team, to some other players, and also talk about fantasy football implications. So that's going to be really interesting.
All about that fantasy.
Exactly. It's going to be something that we're hopefully going to be talking about a lot more closer to the NFL coming in September. So look, we'll talk about, first of all, Julio Jones being traded to the Tennessee Titans for, I'll have the deals here for Falcons get a 2022 second round and a 2023 fourth round, while the Titans get Julio Jones and a 2023 sixth round. First of all, thoughts on that? What do you think? Fair deal? Balance?
Yeah, I think I can't remember if we had a discussion on a video or maybe it was just us discussing in a group chat sort of about what we would give for Julio. And I think we were sort of split between whether we'd give the first rounder or not. I think because of sort of the injuries last season, he has had that big dip. But then you look at his back catalogue, you could probably argue either way whether he's worth that first rounder or not. I think it's a pretty fair deal getting the second and the fourth. I think that's pretty good for both parties.
Yeah, the Falcons are coming in the rebuild mode.
Yeah.
So, getting those two, sure, you couldn't get the first round. It was a little tough. And yeah, we had mentioned, I had said there was going to be a second round, no more, just because of the drama that happened with his release video. It was just a little bit hard to get a first round. And it's funny that you mentioned injuries. So I was reading a little bit, and there's this thing, the Sports Injury Predictor. Basically says that he has an 83% chance of injury in 2021.
Really?
He's
oh my lord!
3 games.
You need to have given that predicted to the Titans. Damn.
Well, yeah, no, it's not.
Wow.
It's something that does dip your value quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, and what's also interesting, I was also reading, neither him nor Hopkins got a first round.
Wow.
So it's really
that's wild. I think that's more wild for Hopkins, but still,
it
that's
is.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it goes to show how much thinking goes behind doors, and whether they look at these things or not, and how much backed up in a corner you really are with a player that doesn't really want to play for your team.
Yeah.
Right. So
you just got to take what you can get sometimes, haven't you?
Exactly. And they'll get value out of the Falcons. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a little rough on Matt Ryan. Which brings us into our talk about the winners and losers. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and start. Pick a few winners, or maybe one winner that you want to talk about. Either side, who you think is a winner on this trade?
I'll go with maybe I'll go with Ryan, Mr. Tannehill. I mean, just from an offensive perspective now, when you have AJ Brown one side, Julio Jones the other, or you can hand off to Derrick Henry down the middle. I mean, that's a bit of an embarrassment of riches. Just the options that he has now, and I guess you could sort of have the play calling sort of coming in as a little mini winner there as well. It just gives them so much sort of depth and so much variety in the play calling to be able to really befuddle opponents. I think that's going to be scary coming up against this team.
It's going to be really scary, and even from a fantasy football standpoint, if you don't make a top 6 QB performance on this team, it's hard. It's not going to look good in your ADP or anything. No. So having said that, you have the likes of Pat Mahomes, Kyle Murray, Josh Allen, all these top quarterbacks. It begs the question: do you draft a quarterback in the first few rounds, or do you just wait and see for Tannehill to drop?
Yeah, I think it does give you that option. I mean, obviously, there's always that premium on the running back. I think I tend to like to get one under my belt fairly early. If my man Dalvin Cook is still available for me, I'm gonna take him. That's just
he's a top 2. Put me in the first round, in the first 101. I'll consider taking Dalvin Cook over Christian McCaffrey.
It's that we might have to have that discussion when we come to a mock draft video or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably just take him out from you. So yeah.
Savage.
But moving forward, under the same lighting, you touched on these other winners would be Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, just because of the spread in terms of production in the team. In terms of fantasy as well, I'd say both get huge upgrades, which begs the question: who do you draft first, AJ Brown or Julio Jones?
It's tough because I have a little bit of a soft spot for AJ Brown. I had him in one of my leagues last year, and he was sick. So good. He won quite a few matchups on his own for me. I'm not sure how much of a winner he is, though. I'm not sure how much. I think it depends on how impactful you think Julio's going to be. Who's going to be that wide receiver one? I think because of his age, the injury history, you would assume AJ Brown's still wide receiver one, Julio's coming in as two. If Julio comes in and has a good kind of first 2-3 weeks, could you potentially see that balance shift? And could you then potentially see AJ's touches drop? I don't know. I think I'd still, because of the age and sort of how early he is in his career, I think I'd probably still go AJ Brown though.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think most people are still going to draft AJ Brown above. And bottom line is, if you think Calvin Ridley did well with Julio as the WR1, you would assume AJ Brown is going to do a lot better. So I do see AJ Brown, having a plus 1,000 yard career season. So, my strategy would be, I hate to be put in these positions. So if I can, I will let the rest decide, and I'll get with the one that's left.
Yeah.
So
if
I'm in a position, I'll just try and look at
make it difficult for everyone else.
Exactly. I'll look at other wide receiving options and then consider. I'm happy with Julio at the 5th round. Sixth round, Moving on to a loser, to me, would be on the other side of the spectrum. You got Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has not been looking good in the past few seasons. The Falcons have not been looking great. It was a 4-12 record, something that is not looking to improve. I do see Calvin Ridley having a bit of a good year, but at the same time, with the lack of coverage from another star wide receiver, how well will Calvin Ridley really do? But we'll have to see what Matt Ryan does. They're in rebuild mode, as we mentioned earlier. We'll see what Matt Ryan does. And another big loser to me would be the Colts.
They must have been fuming when they saw this pop up on Bleacher Report. Like, oh my god!
They were looking to be the team to win that division. So this really does put a damp on the plans there. Having the Titans having lost Jonas Smith and Humphries, I believe it was as well, that left. The Colts do seem like the team to beat there, but now, good for us. Good for the show. We're gonna see them play
very
twice.
much so. Very much so. I think as well. Obviously, the Colts made that trade to bring in Carson Wentz. They were looking for, I guess, a bit of a retool as such. They drafted Michael Pittman last year, Paris Campbell, quite a dynamic wide receiver duo there. They've still got T.Y. Hilton, but he had a bit of a down year. You could see potentially them thinking, okay, this could be a bit of a better year for us. I think that's sort of the hopes have been dashed just a little bit. Yeah.
Hey, gotta stay competitive. So look, I have a few numbers here. So think of Julio Jones, AJ Brown, and Calvin Ridley. Let's say, which one of these had 95.5 receiving yards per game?
Last year or career? Career. I mean, AJ does love a big play. I'll go AJ.
AJ? Well, it's Julio Jones. Will he keep it up? I don't think so. And that's the problem. And that's why I wanted to talk about Julio Jones as a loser to this trade. In terms of pure fantasy production. And I'm just talking production and being able to play the game or whatever. He will become a winner in terms of, chances at getting to the Super Bowl, if not winning it. Much better chances than he had at Atlanta. So in that sense, I guess he's a winner. More in the production fantasy way.
For him looking to get a ring, great. In terms of his own sort of personal achievements, he's going to have to take that back step and take a bit of a backseat to again the younger receiver. Yeah.
Look, that guy had 132 targets per season as well, and in a PPR league, that's beautiful to watch. But that's not going to happen. It could, because actually without Jonas Smith and without that tight end there, but we'll see. We'll have to see what Julio Jones does. Do you have any other thoughts you'd like to talk about?
Just in terms of the touches that you mentioned there, I saw a stat. No Tennessee player has surpassed those 132 targets since Delaney Walker in 2015. So I think they do like to sort of spread the offense. Again, Derrick Henry is they play through the run. Derrick Henry is their main weapon. So from Jones' perspective, and I guess you could potentially argue AJ Brown, there's more wide receiver mouths to feed, and a player that's still expecting to get some touches. You could see a general decrease in the touches of all of the sort of the wide receiver group from the Titans.
But for the greater good.
Yeah, for the team and their progression.
I feel like, and that's, when I was mentioning whether I'd pick AJ Brown or Julio, I feel like the other reason why I wouldn't want to be in that position is because because of that, the share target. I want to be part of that?
Because they've come together. Sort of, both of them have become a bit more. You just don't want to touch them as much. Yeah.
It's like the whole Evans and Godwin kind of thing.
Yeah. They're sort of canceling each other out. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I want neither.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want, the one star in the team. But a lot of mouths to feed. You got starters. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Julio Jones. They brought in Josh Reynolds. The tight end Anthony Fixer. I remember picking him up for a few games last
season. I think I had him at one point as well. Yeah.
He had, I believe, maybe a few games there, but this team looks scary.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. So with that really wraps up. Unless do you have anything else you want to comment?
Yeah, no. The only other one I was going to bring up was Kyle Pitts, who the Falcons drafted, number 4. Major mismatch man, comes in as a tight end, but I mean he could just as easily be a wide receiver. He surely
traded up, no?
I think they did trade up. I think you're right. I think you're right.
So this is a guy that they are gonna look to try and build around.
Yeah, 100%.
The guy has the build of a wide receiver, so it's gonna be really interesting to see this guy play. If you can in your drafts. If you don't get the top 3, Kelsey, Kittle, and Delaney Waller. If you don't get any of those,
Darren Waller,
Delaney Walker.
It's for me talking about Delaney Walker.
Darren Waller, yeah, absolutely. If you don't get one of these 3, this guy is a guy that maybe not pick him as the forward tight end, but he will drop to you guys and pick him as a
Definitely want to consider. Yeah, 100%.
I'd be happy with that over Noah Fant, for example.
I think so. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of touches of that ball. And that's the thing. Okay, Matt Ryan is getting on. He is getting a little bit old, but he led the NFL in completions, led in pass attempts, over 4,500 yards. He's still a very serviceable quarterback.
The Falcons scored. They scored points.
Yeah, but they just couldn't stop it on the other end at all. Yeah, so absolutely not.
You want to have a piece of that cake, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. Yeah. That was the only one I just wanted to bring up. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for sticking with us. We'll hopefully talk a little bit more about the NFL as we mentioned, but closer to where to the September line. We're gonna try and touch on a little bit of the fantasy side of things and maybe some other trades that are gonna come happen. Maybe something happens with the Aaron Rodgers deal. We still don't know.
Still waiting to find out. You're still sweating.
Exactly. So let us know how you guys if you guys enjoyed the talk. Give us a like, subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like hearing us ramble about sports, feel free to subscribe at the top right, check out the next videos on the left, and feel free to leave us a like at the bottom. Thank you guys for watching.